Do 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 do. Bonita. Bum. Interesting. Hmm. unicorn. Well, aren't we all late night loners if we're on playing Animal Crossing? I mean, it's almost 1 in the morning here. Hello. Do do do. You don't have time, Liam. You're on the list already again. Time is ticking away. What did he? Out of curiosity. I think I know the answer, but Bonita. So, there is an algorithm in the game that will always give it a range price, so to speak. The site that I use, like, is this one. And it will, like, it doesn't, don't get me wrong, it does not guarantee anything. So first, like, make that part 100% clear. It does not guarantee you in any way, shape, or form a high turnip price. But what it does do is it shows you the patterns and so forth that can emerge if you continually use it every time the price changes. And if you keep filling it in, it can give you a more accurate prediction of what the range is. The downside is what it refers to as a large spike is anywhere from like 200 to I think it's 700. And there are plenty of times when I get a large spike and it only ends up being like 200 when I paid about 110, which I wouldn't consider that a large spike. But it is what it is, right? So, but it is a good way to kind of keep up with it. Like I said, but you got to fill it in like every time. So that means you fill in what your Sunday purchase price was, and you got to fill in your Monday through Saturday, both AM and PM pricing to get an accurate price. So, or to get an accurate range anyways. And you'll always get an accurate range, and you'll know like hopefully fairly on whether it's going to be a successful week for you or not. Like, and by successful I mean like at least you're not going to lose money. And if you do end up getting what's classified as a large spike week, you'll be able to know exactly when that's actually going to happen. So you don't end up like going, oh, this is as good as it gets. You sell it, then next day it's like literally even higher. Now, I do believe there are quite a few people who do post on Turnip Exchange with high prices, and I'm pretty sure they have hacked copies of the game or modded switches and so forth, where they've hacked the game to set the price themselves. The problem with that, although it doesn't look like Nintendo's done any sort of thing, but Nintendo is notorious for like punishing people, and not only punishing the person who did the modding, but also anyone who participates with the modder. So I'm always wary of visiting those islands when it's like that high. The highest price, this is actually, yeah, I think this is actually now officially the highest price I've ever gotten, which is the 590. I have gotten into the 500s once before, but most of the time the best I'll get is about 4 or something if I do get a large spike, but 9 times out of 10 my large spikes are usually only about 200. So and you can go weeks before you'll actually get something good. The only thing, the worst though, is when you get the decreasing week, because it's just going to keep dropping every day. At least a low spike will start dropping, but at least it will go back up enough for you to at least make money. Right, I wanted to see what did he give me? Oh, okay. I don't even remember what his name was now, but there was something about his name that made me think of a specific food, and I don't even know what it was now. And I was like, oh, this would be funny if he gave me that type of food. Kind of, you probably weren't here earlier. There was a guy who came dressed completely up as a doctor, like with the white coat, the surgical mask, everything. And before he left me medicine, which I thought was clever. I was like totally living the gimmick, you know? But now I don't even remember what that person's name was that left me that food. But I know there was something that in my head that I was like, oh, if he left me whatever, that would totally make sense. Oh, Lamb. Because his name was Lamb. And it was like, oh, if this is like some sort of like lamb dish type thing, that'd be hilarious. And actually, for all I know, that is a lamb dish. I don't even know what that is, actually. What is that? Is that what that is? Is that lamb chops? Or are you saying lamb chops would have been funny? Oh, okay. Okay, it's a sushi type thing. It's a type of sushi roll, apparently. All right. Would have been funny though, still. You know, naming your character Lamb and then going around and leaving lamb chops at everyone's island that you visit. That would be funny. Wolverine is here. People are running out of time. I'm looking at you, Bryce and Cece. Let's see. It's the Prince of Darkness. Crazy. But that's how it goes. No Bryce, no Cece. Their time is up. Which is weird because Cece was in the Twitch chat earlier, patiently waiting her turn. Which means she's either not in the Twitch chat anymore. Nope, she still is. You can impatiently wait all you want. I can understand being frustrated having to wait. I get it. I just don't understand why, like, I guess the thing is if you're waiting, I don't understand how people aren't over, like, almost right away. I never really understood that, you know? Like, I don't understand how... I don't understand how, like, if you're waiting in the queue for this long, how you're not, like, ready to go, like, the second you get the dodo code. Like, I'm not saying, like, be sitting at your, like, fucking airport counter with the keyboard open ready to just type in the dodo code. Although sometimes I've done that when I've been in that role. I mean, like, at least have everything ready to go, so you just have to go quickly run over to your airport and come over. You should be over in, like, 2 minutes. Tops. In my opinion, of course. Well, to be fair, humor can be sometimes hard to determine over text messages. Like, typing messages out. Tone is hard to decipher sometimes in messages. We actually get in trouble at work sometimes for making jokes in the emails because sometimes we don't always remember to put something that indicates that we're joking. And sometimes somebody thinks, oh, they must really not like this or like that or whatever it is. And it's like, no, it was a joke. It was a joke. It's all cool. Everyone's fine. And then we get reminded that, again, as I said, tone really can't be deciphered in text, so. I once got kicked off of a job site for thinking I was funny. To be fair, though, I didn't realize it was the main boss. And truthfully, it wasn't something I should have said anyways. One of my first jobs out of high school was a security guard. And there was a strike going on at one of the major courier companies up here in Canada, Purolator. And the Burlington Depot here in Ontario was basically running their trucks still, even though there was a strike going on. And they decided, I don't know why they decided this. I don't think anything was going to happen. And nothing did happen from what I heard, even after I got kicked off the site. But they hired our security company to basically be in the building and walk around the outside of the building to make sure that none of the striking employees came on the property to try and disrupt the work or whatever, whatever. And this was late at night too, so like none of the workers were even there striking at that time. They strike during the day, but whatever. Anyways, it's maybe about halfway through the day, and I'm actually on a break, so I'm sitting at a table, which is the break area for their employees, and which is where they told us to take our breaks. So like I'm just sitting there. Me and another guard are both on our breaks at that time, and so we're just sitting there. And I guess the manager for that particular depot ends up walking by, and like, to be fair, his comment was kind of stupid too, because they're like, his people told us this is where we're supposed to take our break. So clearly, if we're sitting there, we must be on our breaks. But he sits there and goes, "Oh, I see we're paying you guys to sit around and do nothing." And I thought he was joking. So I joked back with, "Yep, absolutely." And I thought it was funny, and the other guard I was with thought it was funny, and so forth, and a couple other people around thought it was funny. Well, apparently the manager guy didn't think it was funny, because he called our security company and basically told them that they needed to pull me off the site. And so my supervisor showed up, I got pulled aside, I got told why I was being removed from the property. The supervisor said, I didn't actually get in trouble. The supervisor thought it was dumb too. You think you're missing my story. Oh. Did an ad go up or something? Ah. Yeah, that happens. Where did I lose you? Oh, okay, yeah. So we're in the break room, like sitting at this table on our breaks, where we were told to take our breaks by the Purolator management. Like some of the Purolator management. We hadn't seen the main boss guy. I didn't know it was even the main boss guy who walked by. And so, like, clearly we're on our break if we're sitting there, because why else would we be sitting there? And he walks by and he says, to which you know, I thought he was joking when he said it. He says, "Oh, I guess we're paying you guys to sit around and do nothing." And so since I thought it was a joke, I joked back with, "Yep, absolutely." And I thought it was funny. The other guard I was with thought it was funny. A few other people around thought it was funny. Oh yeah, some people laughed. The guy who ended up being the big boss guy for the entire site, who said that in the first place, who asked us if we were being paid to sit around and do nothing. Apparently, he did not find it funny. So he called our security company and basically told them that he wanted me removed from the site. So the supervisor shows up, tells me why I'm being removed, asks my side of the story. I explain what happened. I said, that's where they told us to take our breaks, so that's why we were sitting there. And I didn't know who he was, and da-da-da-da. I didn't get in any trouble. There was no big... I even got paid for the rest of the shift, too. But I got sent home. I was told to go home. So, whatever. I still had another 4 hours left on my shift. I still got paid those remaining 4 hours, so whatever.